Alright guys, TacticalRab back again today. Hope you're all doing well and enjoying your day so far. And as Scump reveals his opinion on the best teams right now in Vanguard in early online scrims, he certainly had some interesting words to say on what Toronto Ultra are up to, but also the state of both Los Angeles teams. Very much intrigued to your thoughts in the comment section below. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button, it's the best thing you can do. Top this channel reach new people, and please do subscribe as well if you have not yet already. First of all, this from the Call of Duty League last night. They tweet this out. A perfect game topped off with an impressive 1v4. So, well, this is of course Method's 1v4 from the middle of last season, well, early part of last season, actually stage 1 before he got dropped for Insight. But, well, as Method says in the replies with the soon emoji, we believed it was going to be, well, before pretty much New Year's, the Boston were going to get everything confirmed. Things generally take longer than we expect them to. But yeah, I'm imagining that Methods and the whole team is going to get confirmed on the Boston side relatively soon into the new year before, obviously, everything kicks off. Still can't really believe they threw this one away, frankly. Like, this is pretty tragic for Mack, actually. He jumps in this window here, I'm pretty sure, and then tries to run away just as Methods comes around the corner. Don't know what was going on there, but anyway, a 1 versus 4 it was. One of the only ones of the season. I think there was one that Shotzzy got on Checkmate. There might have been another one as well, but I'm not forget exactly what that one was. But still, Methods in the league, and we imagine relatively soon. This is also from the Minnesota Rokkr. They're going a bit rogue on the timeline. We well know what some of the demands are in general from the Call of Duty players. Some of the organizations haven't necessarily themselves come out and said anything specific, but this comes out from Rokkr last night, listing out some New Year's resolutions. We started Call of Duty League's list, LAN, League Play, and start the season earlier. This, I think, is really the big one, right? Like, if the season was to start, even if next year they do it a month earlier, the season starts at the beginning of January, and there's a kickoff event in the middle of December sometime, that's just so much better, right? If anything, it should be a kickoff event in November, start the league at the start of December. I don't really know what they want to do, but, you know, ideally, that's the way it goes. But, and even we get, you know, from, well, Brett Diamond here in the replies, he's co-signing this, right, over at the Minnesota Rokkr side as well. So, yeah, lots of intention, and hopefully people are listening over that side of things that actually might make some of these changes going into next year. Now, let's talk about this from the Toronto Ultra side. Firstly, thought this was kind of funny from Bance. You know, feel pretty bad. Just want Checkmate Hardpoint back, right? One of the best ones that Bance had last season, was one of his best maps most certainly last year, at least towards the end of the year. But as Marky V says, he tweets this out too. I forget exactly what map this was. Like, I kind of remember this happening when I saw the screenshots, but I forget exactly when this happened. But 221-7 it was at this point with their, well, Optic versus Toronto Ultra from last year. Pretty incredible. But, I mean, yeah, still, Bance is going to, well, catch some strays as a result of this. But, of course, Toronto going into this season have been a bit of a question mark. We know that FaZe are going to be the #1 team going into this year. Are Toronto going to be right there once again? Some people would say, okay, Toronto were great last year. Can they continue that form going into this season? Which other teams are going to compete with FaZe? Like, can Toronto be the #1 team this year? It's, well, pretty difficult to say, given how good FaZe were before. But, you know, maybe they like the game a bit more than FaZe do right now. Even though, as of late, that doesn't seem necessarily to have been the case. And we haven't seen much in terms of scrims from these guys in a very long period of time. And Scump has some very interesting words to say on exactly what these guys are up to right now. I was trying to figure out, are they back in the UK maybe, or, well, back in their home countries for Christmas? But it doesn't necessarily seem to be the case, as Bance says, you know, cheers to 2021, excited for what next year might potentially bring. Of course, Bance has been having a fair few complaints about the spawns, about the state of the maps as of late, with, well, some sarcasm involved and sometimes not. But, yeah, the players don't seem particularly happy about the state of things. This also quite recently on the 29th of December seems like the guys are back in business, I imagine, in Toronto. So I think theoretically they could be practicing and getting underway, but Scump seems to believe that for whatever reason, these guys have basically decided not to really scrim too much because, well, the state of the game isn't where they want it to be, and they imagine there's going to be changes coming relatively soon. Now, you know, we heard this back in the day in Modern Warfare as well, didn't really come to fruition, so, you know, big questions really being raised from their perspective, and this is the last scrim I could find of them, really. Like, you would have thought that we'd have seen something from them since the 17th of November, because, I mean, maybe some of the guys would have streamed, and even if the Ultra guys aren't streaming, then you'd have thought they'd have played someone who would have streamed it. They would have played an Optic, they would have played, like, you know, an 18 and cracked, right, there's Shawnee's team in Challengers that are streaming their scrims, or at least Classic streaming them. You'd have thought you'd have seen something from Ultra in, well, a month and a half. We haven't seen anything of them since this date, where they 4-0'd Rokkr in a scrim set, and that does make things kind of interesting, right? So Scump goes on to say right here, his opinions right now, Formal kind of asks him, he talks a bit about the state of the game, but also which teams he thinks are the best in the game right now. FaZe, obviously that's a no-brainer. He mentions Florida that are pretty decent as well. Boston even, he's pretty impressed by their new roster. New York, of course, Crimsix and Clayster's team, can't go past them. He talks about the fact that Toronto aren't even scrimming, and then at Los Angeles, where are their teams on this list? Nowhere to be found.
Dude, is there any rhyme or reason to how the game actually plays? When I'm watching, I don't really know.
I mean, it's squad,
it's squad spawn.
It's squad spawn, same as MW. It's squad spawns 4v4.
And they just flip if you get 4 dead, or like they can flip.
I mean, if you get 3 dead and your last person's behind them, odds are you're spawning behind
No, I'm
them.
saying you get 4 dead. Then they can flip or something?
Oh, yeah. You get 4 dead, you'll just flip them to the other side of the map. So that's like the number one rule. Don't go 4 down.
What's the strat? You just like, once you get control of a hard point, you all 3 just run out as far as you can and just go get kills?
Literally. Okay. Literally, you get a HP and you push every side of the map so they can't get through and just spawn kill. It's... Dude, you should see how teams play. You know how mad it makes me? Oh, we call teams kill whores all day long. Because you can just kill whore. It's like TDM. Bokage?
Wait, there's streaks, right?
Yeah, it's 5 for a streak.
Oh,
It's literally TDM. And oh my god, it's so infuriating because it's like it's the right way to play, but also it's like it's so counter
it's just
what
so
COD
like, yeah,
is.
it's so like, why are we doing this?
I'm like, you are such a dirty kill whore.
I bet you Brandon's frying.
He is. he is frying.
Yeah, if I know Brandon, yeah, he's frying. If that's what it's like.
Me and Ant are like
Spawn
-7 every map, but we still win like every map. Just getting spawn killed.
Who's like
by ARs?
Who's like the hardest team you guys played? Who's like the top 3 hardest teams?
Top 3 hardest.
FaZe probably. Florida.
I'd say Florida, FaZe, and Zinni's team.
Really?
Yeah.
Zinni's team.
Yeah, Zinni's team's pretty good.
Hell yeah. Shout out Zinni.
Yeah, they gave us a hard time.
Sometime in like at the beginning of last year.
New York's good too. New York as well is in there.
Oh, it's Crim's team.
Yeah, New York's good.
They're probably good.
New York FaZe, Zinni's team. Florida's pretty good.
What about like
sometimes,
Toronto?
Like some days,
Toronto?
Toronto hasn't scrimmed.
What?
No, not at all.
Why?
I mean, we don't even have the third game mode. Like,
really?
I mean,
what are you guys scrimming then? Just hardpoint?
just HP. We
Oh
play.
my
There's
God.
4 maps too. There's 4
and
HPs, and we play
my
4,
God.
and then we flip sides and play them again, and that's a set. And then it's so down bad. But it's like I feel bad because everyone's like so frustrated. But I'm at the point now where I'm just like, dude, like nothing we say has done anything over years, over a decade. It's not like it's just been since the CDL. This has been an ongoing thing for a decade. When like people just think it's gonna flip.
Yeah.
So just as we discussed this, I thought I'd put this in the background. There were some bloopers that came out last night on the Optic Texas channel for the entirety of their season. I thought were pretty entertaining. They certainly brought me back to, the good land of it. So we did have last year, at least in the latter half of it. Hopefully we'll have way more going into this season as well. But yes, it was very interesting what Scump and, Formal kind of coaxed it out of him had to say. Like, I'm breaking down the top teams in the game. I would have expected, at least in terms of the power rankings we did the other day, I would have put Toronto, obviously it goes FaZe, Toronto, then I'd have put New York really as the top 4 outside of, including Optic, somewhere in that ballpark. And I mean, then of course you've got to figure out 5th and 6th. And to me, I thought 5th and 6th may well be the 2 Los Angeles teams. Now, Scump doesn't seem to think that's the case. He was mentioning Florida, he was mentioning Boston above those 2 LA teams, right? And we've kind of seen as of late, those LA teams haven't had any spectacular results in the scrims. Now, we thought that both of those teams on paper, they've built rosters that should be competitive this year. Now, who knows how they're actually going to perform. The rivalry between those 2 teams, I think, should be fantastic. But whether they can actually compete with some of the top dogs, that does remain to be seen. Of course, Envoy on Los Angeles Thieves, as you can see him in this clip right here. And this also from Simp back to Scrims tomorrow. Happy New Year to me, right? Because of course, maybe not having the greatest time on this game right now. But I mean, still, look, no brainer that FaZe are going to be right up there in Scump's estimation. He puts New York in the mix as well after almost forgetting about them. Florida, he says they're decent, right? They're good some days, maybe not so good other days. Also, generally been a team that people say are more onliners than Lanimals. Let's just say, right, they're generally a better squad online. So maybe when it goes to LAN, they won't be quite as good as they have been so far. Boston was quite impressive to me. The fact that Scump was mentioning them as being pretty good, right? This new team of Methods, TJ, Capsule, and of course Nero on that squad. But I mean, still, the LA teams didn't really get too much of a mention. I'm not really sure what's going on with Toronto. Heard some mixed things about what's happening with them. They seem to be about in Toronto, so I don't really know why they wouldn't be practicing. He seems to reckon that because, control isn't fixed or whatever, they're not really doing all that much. But, if they're not really practicing all that much, like, surely they're falling behind some of these other rosters that are playing right now. And, for whatever reason, Optic don't seem to be scrimming those guys. So it's kind of a strange situation. We haven't seen all that much either from Optic playing up against LA Thieves or LAG, but at this game a couple of days ago, right, LA Thieves going 4-4 in a, map set with the Challengers team. Obviously a good Challengers team full of former pro players, but, doesn't seem like Scump really thinks that these guys are quite on top of their game like some of the top teams are. He does mention what I would have considered to be the top 4 really. FaZe, I mean, Optic, New York, and then Toronto Ultra. But, well, he does seem to have interesting opinions on what they might be up to right now. Wanted to mention a few other things as we finish out the video. This Thursday from Shotzi, first ever vlog. This was honestly incredibly entertaining. I didn't think it was going to be as entertaining as this. I know this guy, like, he's just naturally funny. But it's honestly a great vlog. Like, it's just like, I guess his initial one or whatever. He's got an editor to deal with this stuff for him. This is exactly what, like, in Hex and we've been talking about really in the community lately. People just putting stuff out there like this, which, well, I mean, it already banged off on YouTube, so just fantastic stuff to see. Hopefully other players will follow in similar footsteps, frankly. And this also from TrainwrecksTV that came out last night. Thought this was remarkable, really. It was going down to the tunnel, so I thought I'd have to mention it, because, I mean, good connections Trainwrecks has to the Call of Duty scene. He gave a lot of money away to some of the COD guys, like streamers, personalities, this type of stuff. Thought it was remarkable. He just gave away 1 million last night to, I think, fans, like moderators, this type of stuff, but also a lot of Call of Duty guys. Like, we saw that Tyler Fellow got 35k, like, just ridiculous stuff. I think maybe Trainwrecks, like, he was good friends with Fears and good friends with these guys as well, but kind of incredible, right? I'm not sure how much prize money Paris Legion have won the last couple of years, but it's probably less than this, to be honest, what Fellow receives, of course, a player for Paris right now in one single paycheck. So just incredible. I think Clayster and his girlfriend Luna also got like 10k each or something from this. So I mean, that was honestly, frankly, incredible. And I mean, this also from Hitch a Ride, whether he realized it or not, this man Trainwrecks has just helped me pay for all of the audio video equipment I need to start my own podcast series this year. I'm so shook, he said. So awesome stuff, honestly. Hit just done so much. I mean, I'm pretty sure Courage made a similar tweet to this a couple of days ago, that Hit just done more for the CDL with some of these tournaments he's put on at the start of Vanguard than the CDL actually has done themselves. So there were so many cracking tournaments. Like, yeah, of course, we wish that some of these tourneys could actually have the full pro teams up against other full pro teams that the CDL doesn't allow, because they want us to have to wait till February or whatever, until, well, the kickoff event in about 20 or so days time, to see how these teams are going to match up against each other, which is a bit of a stupid rule. But Hitch has done his best to make things happen right at the start of Vanguard. And I mean, well, another podcast series could be fantastic from his side. I'm sure that, well, that's going to have at least some competitive Call of Duty relations to it, because this guy loves competitive Call of Duty better than pretty much anyone in the scene. But very much intrigued to your thoughts on all this stuff in the comment section below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, hit in the like button, tells the YouTube gods this is a good video, and it's like you should see it as well, and help grow the competitive Call of Duty community. Thanks for watching as always, take care, and I will see you next time.